This is for third year first semester students as per PCS syllabus pharmacology 2. I am going to explain angina pectoris. Angina pectoris means the chest pain which radiates towards the left arm, throat and jaw and teeth is called angina pectoris. So angina pectoris is one of the typical symptom of coronary heart disease where we will observe reduced blood supply to the heart due to obstruction takes place. The blood vessel which supply blood to the heart is called coronary artery. So where the obstruction takes place here, this lead to the coronary heart disease. The causative factors are atheroma, thrombosis or coronary artery spasm. In atheroma, there is the abnormal deposition of lipids takes place. This lead to the atheroma. And thrombosis, there is a clot obstruction takes place. And next one is coronary artery spasm. Abnormally, it will contracts without any atheroma or thrombosis, that is called coronary artery spasm. So where we will observe oxygen demand and supply imbalance will be happen to the cardiac muscle. So here this lead to the myocardial ischemia. Ischemia means reduced oxygen supply to the particular organ is called myocardial ischemia. And angina pectoris is a reversible myocardial ischemia where we will observe the pain ranging from between severe to mild chest pain which radiates towards the left arm, throat, jaw and teeth. Myocardial, in case of myocardial infarction, there is a irreversible myocardial ischemia takes place where we will observe death of the cardiac tissues. Usually it also described as a heart attack. And coming to the etiology, so atherosclerosis, heart valve diseases, hypertrophic cardiomyopathies and coronary artery spasm, hypertension and smoking are the reasons. Coming to the classification, so it is classified into three types. One is stable, this is also called typical angina, common type of angina or exertional angina. So usually stress induces this type of the angina. So exercise, emotional stress and will be induces pain and it is absent at rest. So this will be happen due to narrowing of coronary artery due to atheroma. And second variety is unstable angina. This is also called uncommon type of angina, crescendo angina or pre-infractional angina. So the pain will be appear even in a rest, present at a rest. Acute, where we will observe acute cardiac insufficiency. This will be happen due to the thrombus or blockage of blood flow in the coronary artery. So here third variety is variant angina, prinzmetal angina. This is also called prinzmetal angina. We will usually observe in women compared to the men. So where we will observe there is a abnormal vasospasticity of coronary artery. This is called vasospastic angina. So coming to pathophysiology, so heart normally works to meet metabolic demand of the body. So heart normally works, that means normally it will consuming normal quantity of oxygen, but during physical stress, so heart works extra to meet extra demand by the body. So in coronary artery diseases, this extra work, heart extra working demands extra oxygen, but due to blockage of coronary artery, the extra oxygen may not be supplied during physical exercise. This lead to the development of ischemia. So in the ischemic changes takes place in cardiac tissues, pH will be dropped and loss of potassium takes place, increasing lactic acid levels takes place, impairment of ventricular function also takes place. Angina index can be calculated by multiplying heart rate with systolic BP. So here symptoms are squeezing and discomfort sensation below the sternum will be observed, a dull pain or crushing sensation will be observed in the left side of the chest. The pain will be radiated towards the left shoulder, neck, left arm, fingers and throat. There is a slight increase in heart rate and BP will be observed due to the stress due to sympathetic stimulation. And dyspnea, indigestion, tiredness also observed. And nocturnal angina, sometimes the attack may be observed during the night time where we will observe pulse rate increment and BP increment or respiration increment will be observed. It can be diagnosed based on typical symptoms of the angina. And from the ECG there is change in ST segment, T wave inversion and R wave height reduces. In rest the symptoms are normal. There is normal ECG will be observed, and the other tests are stress inducer test, radionuclide imaging techniques where the image of coronary artery will be done by thallium 201. And next one is pharmacological stress induced stress techniques are also available, and next one is electrocardiography also helpful for the diagnosis. Coming to the our pharmacology, so here drugs are classified into following category. Foremost important is nitrates. They are again divided into short acting and long acting. Nitroglycerides and amyl nitrates are short acting, that means they will work a few minutes, 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Long acting drugs are isosorbide mononitrate, isosorbide dinitrate, they will work 30 to 60 minutes. And beta blockers, atenolol, metoprolol, and calcium channel blockers, verapamil, diltiazem, and miscellaneous drugs are antiplatelets, aspirin, and potassium channel activators, nicorandil. Potassium channel activators and beta blocker and calcium channel blockers, which are already covered in antihypertensive agents. Overall, due to their activity, heart functioning is reduced, so automatically the oxygen consumption by the heart reduces. So today I would like to explain the pharmacology of nitrates and the antiplatelets, that is aspirin. So coming to the nitrates, that is short acting nitrates. So upon metabolism they are converted, they will liberate nitric oxide. This nitric oxide activate a guanylyl cyclase enzyme. Now this enzyme will liberate excess amount, will synthesize excess amount of cyclic GMP. Now cyclic GMP inhibit the release of calcium into cytosol by various mechanisms. This lead to the relaxation of smooth muscle takes place. So pharmacokinetics, usually they undergo first pass metabolism, that's why they generally they are given sublingual route. They will work within 3 to 5 minutes after administration. Even within half an hour also, within a half minute also they will work. Pharmacological action activity on heart, because they dilates the arteries and veins, especially veins are dilated. Due to this, reduced preload will be observed as well as reduced afterload will be observed at a high dose. So due to this reduction of preload, heart working capacity reduces, heart working workload reduces. This due to this reduced oxygen consumption by the heart will be observed. And coronary artery, as it is smooth muscle, it relaxes. Due to this relaxation, it can accommodate more blood, more redistribution of blood to the ischemic area takes place. In peripheral circulation, it also dilates the blood vessels in the skin, cutaneous dilation, this lead to the flushing sensation. It also dilates the blood vessels in the cranium, this lead to the headache. That is thrombing type of the headache will be observed. So here the blood vessels are dilated, that means the blood will be shifted from the pulmonary circulation to systemic circulation. So thereby it would relieve the pulmonary congestion. In smooth muscles, most of the smooth muscles are relaxed, like bronchial smooth muscles and esophageal smooth muscles. But small intestine, large intestinal smooth muscles may not be affected that much. Adverse drug reactions are postural hypotension, palpitations, atrial fibrillations, GI disturbances, thrombing headache, drug tolerance. This is very important. So here the main action is dilation of blood vessels. So due to dilation, there is compensatory mechanism, counteracting mechanism will be stimulated, that is stimulation of renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system, stimulation of sympathetic system, and there is a increasing blood volume takes place that will counteract the actions of the nitroglycerins. So here withdrawal symptom, another peculiar adverse effect is withdrawal symptoms. Sudden withdrawal of this nitroglycerin intake, this lead to the rebound angina. And drug interaction, sildenafil and phosphodiesterase enzyme inhibitors, so they also dilate the blood vessels. This leads to the severe hypotension. Contraindicated, it is mainly contraindicated in closed angle glaucoma. So IOP also increases by the nitroglycerins. Used in angina pectoris, congestive heart failure, left ventricular failure, myocardial infarction, bile duct pain. So here bile duct also made up of the smooth muscle. There is a smooth muscle relaxation takes place by these drugs. That's why it is useful in treatment of bile duct pain, esophageal spasm, as well as cyanide poisoning. So here cyanide poisoning. So generally these nitrates binds to the hemoglobin, they will form methemoglobin. This methemoglobin binds to the cyanides to form cyanomethemoglobin. So it will interact with sodium thiosulfate. So later it will releases thiocyanate and sodium sulfate. Sodium sulfate, which are less active, then they are easily excreted with the kidney. So in cyanide poisoning, along with nitrates and sodium thiosulfate, so they promote the excretion of cyanide and reduces the cyanide poisoning. And here we can see the mechanism. Organic nitrates upon metabolism they release nitric oxide diffuses into the smooth muscle where it will activate the guanylate cyclase enzyme. The guanylate cyclase enzyme converts the GTP to cyclic GMP. Now cyclic GMP reduces free cytosolic calcium will be reduces. This lead to the relaxation of smooth muscle. So that is the mechanism. Long acting are more or less same, but they are active orally. Even though they have first pass metabolism, adverse aggregation, headache, edema, and drug interactions. When they are giving with alcohol, it will produce a synergistic effect. Contraindicated in allergens. Some persons are allergic to the long acting nitrates. Beta blockers already covered, and calcium channel blockers already covered in antihypertension. So, to the antiplatelets, aspirin, dipyridamole, their mechanism of action is they inhibit the reuptake of adenosine. So, thereby adenosine availability in the bloodstream increases. So, now adenosine will cause us release of cyclic AMP. Now, cyclic AMP will cause a smooth muscle relaxation. The pharmacokinetic normal, and adverse reactions are dyspepsia, abdominal discomfort, peptic ulcers, drug interactions. So, that is heparin and propanicid, and with alcohol it leads to the GIT bleeding, and this will be appear in long term usage and contraindication in asthmatic and allergens. This completes angina pectoris. Potassium channel activators also covered in previous classes. Thank you.